Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday, and welcome to PsychCandy for August 2nd. Hope you guys are doing great. Always good to see you, Mark, Deanna, Amy. So glad you guys are here. Everybody watching on YouTube, thanks for joining in and tuning in. Therapist, I have found that the energy on these emotions, and even just in my world, is relationships. But some relationships are positive and mood elevating. Others, well, they can just suck the optimism and serenity right out of you. Now I call these draining people the emotional vampires. Now, they do more than just drain your physical energy. The most malignant ones can make you believe that you're unworthy, unlovable. Others inflict damage with smaller digs to keep bad about yourself. You know, oh my, I see you've put on a few pounds, or, well, you're just overly sensitive. And just like that, they've thrown you off center. They start prodding areas of shaky self worth, that kind of thing. Well, that depletes you. That takes you down a couple of notches sometimes. But see, emotional vampires, they're not looking at it from that perspective. They don't really care what kind of damage they're putting on you. They're just doing them. I'm going to give you 5 signs that you have encountered an emotional vampire. Think about this one now. Your eyelids are heavy. You feel ready for a nap. Your mood takes a nosedive. You want to binge on carbs or comfort foods. You might feel anxious, depressed, negative. You feel put down. Just kind of, ugh. That's kind of the impact that these people can have on you physically. So, to protect your energy, it's important that you combat these draining people. So, I'm going to share with you some strategies that can help you identify and combat the ever loving emotional vampires from them being in that empowered place. We don't want them in an empowered place. So, we're going to talk about 5 types of emotional vampires. The first one, most notable, is the narcissist. Now, their motto is obviously me first. Everything is all about them. They have a grandiose sense of self importance and entitlement, hog attention, crave admiration. They're dangerous because they lack empathy and have a limited capacity for unconditional love. If you don't do things their way, they become punishing, withholding, cold, distant. So, how do you protect yourself? Well, you keep your expectations realistic. These are emotionally limited people. Try not to fall in love with one or expect them to be selfless or to love without strings attached. Never make your self worth dependent on them or confide your deepest feelings to them. To successfully communicate, the hard truth is that you must show how something will be to their benefit. Now, those better not to have to contend with this, tedious ego stroking. If the relationship is unavoidable, this approach works. In other words, but watch what you don't tie into this. You got to start looking at these red flags. You can start looking at what type of person you're dealing with. The next one is the victim. Now, I know that most people have encountered this at some point in their life. Now, these particular people, the victims, well, they grate on you with their poor me attitude. The world is against them. It's the reason for their unhappiness. And when you offer a solution to their problem, they say yes, but, you know, and eventually you might end up screening your calls or purposely avoiding them. As a friend, you may want to help, but their tales of woe overwhelm you, and most times when you are trying to help, they're not really going to take your help. They want to be the victim. They want to be that complainer. There's always a reason that their life is wrong. There's always a reason that things aren't going right. There's always a reason why this is happening and that's happening. And, they hear your good suggestion, but, this is why it's not going to work for them because it never will. They have made it a routine and a pattern of being that victim. So how do you protect yourself? Well, you set kind but firm limits. Listen briefly to the friend or relative, but then say, I love you, but I can only listen for a few minutes unless you want to discuss an actual solution. See, there's nothing wrong with that approach. See, a lot of people just don't want to do that though. And with a coworker, sympathize maybe by saying, I'll keep having good thoughts for things to work out for you. Sending you good vibes. Then add, I hope you understand, but I'm on a deadline or whatever the case may be, and I got to return to my stuff. You know, learn body language sometimes if you're dealing with somebody that you're just trying to park the conversation, put up your limit. You're not being mean, but you can use body language sometimes to end a conversation. Sometimes that's necessary, and it's necessary for your own well being. Number three, the controller. Now, these people obsessively try to control you and dictate how you're supposed to be and feel. They have an opinion about everything. They'll control you by invalidating your emotions when they don't fit into their own rule book. They often start sentences with, you know what you need? And then proceed to tell you. You end up feeling, maybe demeaned, put down, you know. So what do you do in that moment? What do you do in how to protect? Well, the secret to success is to never try to control a controller. Be healthily assertive, but don't tell them what to do. You can say things like, I value your advice, but really need to work through this myself. Be confident. Don't play the victim. Don't become that person. Stay confident in your own belief, in your own emotion, in your own position. Here's the other one, the constant talker. Now, I've had a few of those in my life. People that just won't hush. And these people aren't interested in your feelings. They are only concerned with themselves. You may wait for an opening to get a word in edgewise, but it really probably is not going to come. Or they might physically move in so close that they're practically breathing on you. You edge backwards, they step closer because you need to hear them. Constant, 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 constant. Only what they say matters. So, what do you do in those moments? Well, these individuals don't respond to nonverbal cues. You got to speak up, and interrupt sometimes. And as tough as that is to do, it's necessary. Listen for a few minutes and politely say, I hate to interrupt, but I have to talk to these other people, or I have to get to an appointment, or I got to go to the bathroom, or I got to do something. You got to just break it. It's a much more constructive tactic than saying, keep quiet, you're driving me crazy. Shut the fuck up, please. I can't take it no more. If this is a family member, it makes it even harder, right? I'd love if you allowed me some time to talk so I can add to the conversation. If you say this neutrally, it can, be better heard. If you say it kind of nasty or so forth, well, you know. But sometimes those constant talkers, whenever they're really not listening to you anyway, you got to just shut up. You got to shut it off. Make a limit. Have a boundary. There's nothing wrong with that. And the last one, this is my favorite one. The drama queen. You got any drama queens in your life? Have you ever been accused of being a drama queen? Yeah. Well, these people have a flair for small incidents, into off the chart dramas. You know, I had a patient, Sarah, was exhausted when she hired a new employee who was always late. And one week he had the flu, almost died. Next, his car was towed again. Each time this employee left her office, Sarah felt tired and used. And that's what happens. So, what do you do with the drama queen? Well, a drama queen can't draw energy from equanimity. In other words, stay calm. Take a few deep breaths. This will help you not get caught up in the, histrionics. Set kind but firm limits. Say, for example, you must be here on time to keep your job, for example, or I'm sorry for all your mishaps, but this comes first. You have to learn to address drama queens at their source. You want to cut it off, because nobody needs all that. And a lot of times, people that do that, their mentality, their own approach, their self worth is already damaged anyway. Their self value says that they're not understanding, or they just nestled in them. They've made that so much part of their characteristic that they're always, that certain person, when you tell them about something that happened to you, one, they're probably going to come back with a story that way over trumps anything going on in your world, or theirs is gonna it's got to be the absolute top level to get the compassion or whatever they're after. Important thing is that to improve your relationships and increase your energy level, you know, take inventory of people who give you energy and those that drain you. Try to spend time with the loving, nurturing people. Learn to set limits with those who drain you out. And if you can do that, then you're going to start to enhance just your own quality of life and your own mentality. You know, like I go over this topic a lot, and that's it for the article. I'm not reading any more to you. But here's the point. I'll share that sometimes, and people will hear it, right? And it's like we understand it, but understanding it and then applying it, those are two different things. When we want to actually change something, or we want to get ourselves to a better place, we got to have the understanding and that effort and energy to do so, even whenever it means that sometimes we're going to have to step up and do the hard thing to address somebody that's being toxic, address somebody that's draining you out, and sometimes it means cutting people out of your world. You may have to like close that door. You got to make that line. You got to make that limit, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself so de-energized. You're going to get yourself so regressed in your own self of how you operate that now you start to make that your form. You start to make that your pattern, and that's not what you want. And the problem is, well, the fact is, this is life. We are going to encounter those emotional vampires throughout the rest of our life. You're going to cross paths with people, be it with work, be it with family, be it with friends, be it with strangers. You're going to encounter these people. And so whenever you can build that practice that's going to keep you in the healthiest dynamic, the healthiest mindset, so that you're taking care of you first, that doesn't make you a selfish, inconsiderate person. It makes you a clear-headed, alert, and aware person, to where you're going to operate to be in the best, most healthy dynamic of you. And that's what you get to push out to other people, is that healthy dynamic. And that's the point of this. Trying to help you gain some tools that can help you rebuild past the dregs that we have to deal with sometimes in life. And we do. We have to deal with a lot of dregs. Well, guys, I hope you were able to pull something from this today. Always love seeing you guys. Anthony, Pilar, Mark, Deanna, Amy, guys, thank you so much for being here. Everybody watching on YouTube, thank you for being here. Join me back here tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. And I'm gearing up. I'm going to have a special guest. I have a therapist. Alex King is going to be a guest on my show. I think either Friday or Monday. I've got to confirm for sure the date with her, but do not miss that show. It's going to be really, really epic. And we're going to be talking about how we program our subconscious, and the aspect of how a lot of us really don't pay much mind to the subconscious. Let me tell you something. You can reprogram yourself in ways you didn't even know, and it helps to elevate your just mental process in general. So we're going to be really diving into that. It's going to be really fun. Guys, have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Till then, be happy, be healthy, and be you. Cheers. Thank you so much for that.